I just listed over 10,000 Lego parts to my Lego store in one day. It actually took me 8 hours, which is a work day. Oh, whoa. I parted out 2 of these stadium sets. I got them on sale on Lego.com, and I thought they'd be a great opportunity for me to part them out. Parting out 10,000 parts might seem a little crazy. It is, and it's a lot of parts. It was actually very overwhelming at first. I thought it'd be a good idea to boost my store inventory. You know, adding parts is great for customers. They might want parts I already have, and they might also want a few more parts that I listed. I think it helps attract customers to my store, and I'm happy to list more parts. Secondly, I thought a lot of these parts I can use in some of my mock builds. I kept under 1,000 parts from these sets, so I did truthfully list 10,000 parts in 8 hours. I'm going to teach you everything that I did. That way you can do it yourself. Even if you're not a Bricklink seller, you can do this for your own collection. You can get sets, part them out, and use them for your mocks. Occasionally you'll find a set on the shelf that you think is a great deal, and you're like, you know, maybe some of those figures would be cool, but I don't really like the build. This is for you. You can use those parts to be something greater. First thing I did was open each of these sets. In hindsight, I could have opened just one at a time, but I opened both of them and poured out half of each set. Each set came with a bunch of bags loose, as well as a sealed box inside it. I kept the 2 boxes sealed at first, and I poured out everything else onto my table. When I poured all these parts out, I first took each bag, like so, and I cut it open, poured the parts out. I actually put the bag to the side. I pile up my bags and I save them, and then I use them in my store when I'm pulling orders on Bricklink. This is a great way to recycle bags, and it works really well. I'm sure you could also probably incorporate this as a Lego collector. I'm not sponsored, but I do love this product. It has a setting where you can adjust it based on the plastic you're sealing. When I have parts in this bag, I simply put this in here, close that down, and it will seal it. This is not plugged in right now, and I would never just hold it and do that. You keep this on a table where you can then seal it, and it will go beep, and it'll seal. I'll leave a link to the impulse sealer in the description. Now that I had a pile of parts in front of me, what do I do next? What I first did was take out all the small bags of parts. Any small bag that was sealed. Usually inside a bag like this, you'll find another 1 or 2 bags that are this size. There's just some random ones I have. I did not want to mix my small parts with my large parts. It would make it more complex as I went through the sortation process. Then when I had a mountain of parts in front of me that were just bricks, no other little bags in there or trash, I took these. These are sortation trays. This is a very fine tool that you can get online. I'm just kidding. It's a lid to a banker box, but it works amazing as a sortation tray. I don't need lids on all the boxes I have on my shelves. Simply use them for that. I didn't need to buy anything else. That's a win-win if you ask me. I take this tray and I start one color at a time. If you've seen my other sortation videos, I always say sort by part type. That is very true, but we're parting out sets here. So my goal is to sort it down into color. And I think this is the fastest way, but I'm currently working through multiple processes and timing myself to figure out which is the fastest. That way I can put a video together to help you, the end user, whether you're a Bricklink seller like me or a Lego collector that wants to part out. I want to find out what is the fastest way to do it. I really believe the method I'm doing now is one of the quickest, if not the quickest method. I'll show you everything I do. I sort everything into color, like this. I didn't film myself doing this. I timed myself, and then I was impressed how quickly I was able to do this. I have photos throughout it and some video footage as the mountain gets smaller and then large again with all the different parts and the second set of bags and so forth. Crazy stuff. When I had all of the trays done and they had all their individual colors, I then sorted the small bags. I cut all of them open and then did the same process and used a separate set of trays. Some of the colors I didn't. I should have, in hindsight, used second sets of trays, and I've been doing this with the other sets I've parted out recently because it is faster. If you keep your small parts separate from the large parts, you don't need to sort them then. It's not as hard to sort them down into their categories at the very end. You can sort the large parts, dump out the same color of the small parts, sort that. All in all, then, when everything is sorted, it is time to go on Bricklink and part out this set. Here's how I did that. When parting out this set, it's actually quite simple. You go to the part out feature, you select your parameters. I typically keep the same parameters for most sets. In this case, I'm changing the quantity to 2, the condition is new, I'm keeping the extra parts and instructions. I'm not going to retain them, and that is because when parts sell, I want them to be deleted. That way, when I upload new parts, I can put them in a new bin versus consolidating. When you're done, you can submit for edit, and I always consolidate other parts, and you'll see that on the next page when we verify the pieces. When you're consolidating, it will show you what bin it belongs in. As you can see, many of these say consolidate. I will actually save this as a PDF in order to then review it at another time in case I don't do this all in one day, or maybe it takes a few days. That way you don't want that page to have to refresh it. You'll log out of Bricklink if you're not active for so long. It's good to save it as a PDF. I find it's very helpful. Then we go to the next page and we click upload. This will upload all the parts to your inventory. And don't be fully scared. You know, I used to always worry and make sure everything's in a bin before I hit upload, but that's not the fastest way to do it. This is a faster way to do it than I've shown in the past. And maybe there'll be a faster way as I keep working and figuring it out. Overall though, now they're listed in my inventory, I can do this. I simply search for parts based on the parameters. They're new parts and they don't have remarks. It will pull up a whole page of parts that are in my inventory without remarks. I can then take the parts off my table. I can work through this one color at a time. And that's how I did it. Let's say I started with the black parts. I'll work through them. I'll start with this page and I'll put all the ones in brand new bins. I'll have a bin in front of me. I'll label them number per number as I put them in stock into where they go. And then I will move on to the parts that already had bins. Just go down the list and find part for part and put them in their associated bins. When this is done, I move on to the next color. And it's that simple. You do parts that you need new bins for. You put bins in front of you, drop the parts into those bins, write up the bin numbers and lettering on it, and then those are listed. Then you go to the PDF that I told you to save. That is the same page as before when you're verifying the parts, and it will show you where the parts go in their bins. If you do want to keep parts from parting out any set, the only thing you have to do before you part it out is simply go through and click delete for those selected parts. That's what I did. I didn't film mine originally. I'm just kind of walking you through what I did do, and in a future video I hope to show you the fastest way to part things out with step-by-steps, and I'll speed up the footage, but I hope to fully film everything for, you know, let's say a 5,000 piece set. That's how I parted out 10,000 parts in a day, and I hope that you found this information helpful, or you liked this video at least. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to see more. Have a good day. Lego, my Jameso.